from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
This is the National News Broadcast coming to you live from the Rupavahini Studios. Bringing you stories for today, I'm Sharma Mascarenhas.
And I'm Prashant De Silva. First, a look at the headlines. The World Bank praises Sri Lanka's economic and social reforms. The President reiterates the need to safeguard sovereignty of island states in the Indian and South Pacific Oceans. Measures to redeploy 50 super luxury buses of the SLTB withdrawn from service. 44 persons killed in 2 road accidents in Peru and South Africa.
On to those and other stories in detail, starting off with local news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has participated in the Conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2023 at the United Nations headquarters in New York yesterday. In conjunction with the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, the first event was the Conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2023. This conference was focused on exploring new strategies to advance progress towards achieving sustainable development goals by 2030. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri, President's Senior Advisor on Climate Change Ran Wijewardena, Secretary to the President Samaneka Naika were also present on this occasion. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol pledged his support for President Ranil Wickremesinghe's economic recovery plan for Sri Lanka. The official meeting between President Wickremesinghe and the President Yoon Suk Yeol occurred alongside the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly at the South Korean Permanent Resident Mission to the United Nations in New York. Additionally, President Yoon Suk Yeol mentioned the potential for expanding the scope for job opportunities in South Korea for Sri Lankan youth in the future. South Korean leader lauded President Wickremesinghe's efforts to minimize climate change. The leaders discussed the strengthening of diplomatic relations that began in 1978 and explored opportunities for further expansion. President Wickremesinghe emphasized the importance of expeditiously finalizing a trade agreement between the two nations. South Korean President noted that Sri Lanka can draw valuable lessons from South Korea's remarkable achievements in digitization. President Yoon Suk Yeol extended an invitation to President Ranil Wickremesinghe on an official visit to South Korea in the near future. President Ranil Wickremesinghe was also engaged in discussions with World Bank President Ajay Banga at the World Bank headquarters. World Bank President Ajay Banga commended Sri Lanka's commitment to reforms, emphasizing the importance of credibility in the country's approach. He has extended fullest support of the World Bank for Sri Lanka's efforts. President Wickremesinghe expressed gratitude for the vital financial support provided by the World Bank to Sri Lanka during the past 2 years to overcome the severe financial crisis. Sri Lanka has now embarked upon the path of full economic reforms. He added that the country has also reached the final stage of the debt optimization program. The aim is to restore full normalcy in the country within the next decade through higher economic growth rate. In the realm of education and technology, President Wickremesinghe expressed his desire for additional 4 technological universities and renewable energy development, which would significantly impact the northern region of Sri Lanka. He also mentioned plans for a climate change university. The President has further stated that Sri Lanka is expecting the technological support of the World Bank for the proposed international university on climate changes. He also said that Sri Lanka is anticipating to achieve progress in the field of renewable energy as well. Currently, measures are underway to set up wind power and solar power energy projects in the northern province. The President also said that Sri Lanka is engaged in a feasibility study for the generation of electricity using green hydrogen and ammonia. He added that 4 new draft bills on behalf of women will be presented to Parliament next month. The Sri Lankan President also extended an invitation to the World Bank President to engage in a tour in Sri Lanka. The World Bank head has accepted the invitation. He has also informed the President to contact him or the head of international operations at any instance when in need of support on technical issues or advisory services. President Ajay Banga added that the World Bank will continuously extend assistance for Sri Lanka's digitalization process and also for the wind, solar power and renewable sector and as well as education sector of the country. The World Bank had further said his institution is willing to join the Power Energy Relations Network, which connects South Asian region, including Sri Lanka, through a power network. He also said that through service digitalization in the educational and other state sectors, it would become possible to enhance sense of transparency and efficiency. He also said teachers as well as numerous trade unions may directly obstruct of such a transformation. The Sri Lankan president has responded saying that what is more important to him is to build a future for children. He added that it is also his aim to enhance transparency and efficiency in every field of activity. The Sri Lankan president has also participated in the Business Roundtable talks jointly organised by the Business Council on International Understanding on Sri Lanka's economic opportunities and the Sri Lankan Embassy in the United States yesterday. The meeting was also attended by heads of more than 40 business institutions in the United States, which are currently engaged in exploring in Sri Lanka's investment and trade affairs, a high-level private sector delegation of Sri Lanka, as well as the senior government representatives of the United States. President Ranil Wickremesinghe participated in the Ocean Nations, the third annual Indo-Pacific Islands Dialogue, which is being conducted in parallel to the 78th session of the United States General Assembly. The keynote address was delivered by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The president emphasized that amidst the great power rivalry in the Indo-Pacific region, all countries must commit themselves to safeguard their identities and should not mediate in the internal affairs of sovereign states in the South Pacific Ocean. President Wickremesinghe asserted that Sri Lanka's government does not align itself with either India or China and firmly stands for Sri Lanka's interests above all else. This commitment to sovereignty extends to other island nations in the region. In response to a question posed on the Hambantota port, President Wickremesinghe said that Sri Lanka expressed concerns over labelling of the Hambantota commercial port as a Chinese military base. The country is developing the Trincomalee harbour in the cooperation with India and intends to raise the matter at international forums. The president further said it is hope to raise this issue at international forums.
Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena requests all media institutions to engage in reporting news after substantiating the effects. The minister has made these remarks in Parliament today, clarifying on charges directed against him.
Mount Mary Anka Visiname Dara Dumbriya Nila Nivaseka Padinchi Velai.
Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said that an engine driver named Indika Dodangada residing in railway quarters at number 29 Mount Mary, who is currently not holding any trade union position, has made a statement saying that Bandulu Gunawardena is the most corrupted and worst minister. He has also charged that he had handed over bags of 50 million rupees money at his residence. The minister added that upon receiving such absurd accusations, he has made a complaint at the Department of Criminal Investigation. He added that later on he went to the Bribery and Corruption Commission. He also said that the Anti-Corruption Act has become operative on the 15th. He said that this was his first complaint. He further stated that both the CID and the Bribery Commission should engage without delay in the task of disseminating justice and enlighten the entire country on the big racket in selling train tickets. He has called upon all friendly media personnel as the minister in charge not to publish news items without study and also requested them not to sling mud at others without evaluating facts.
ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මාධ්‍ය ආයතන වලින්ගෙන් කරුණු හැදෑරීමකින් තොරව මිනිස්සුන්ට මඩ ගහන්න.
Attorney at Law Chaminda Kularatna has assumed duties as the new Deputy Secretary General of Parliament today after delivering the official pledge before Parliament Secretary General Kushani Rohanadira. The Speaker at the commencement of the parliamentary session today has announced on the appointment of Chaminda Kularatna as the new Chief of Staff and the Deputy General Secretary of Parliament. He was a past pupil of Rajasinghe Central College, Ruanvella, and a law graduate of the Open University. He has also received postgraduate degrees from the University of Colombo and the Business Management from the Buckinghamshire University of United Kingdom. Chaminda Kularatna also held high-ranking positions, including Senior Presidential Assistant Secretary. He is a state official with around 20 years of experience in administrative duties locally and internationally.
Deputy General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Sarath Ekanayake, says the first General Secretary of his party was also a person who had changed parties. Addressing a media briefing in Kandy today, he added that if he was elected to post of General Secretary of SLFP, all would be able to witness his actions in the future. Deputy General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Sarath Ekanayake, said that post of Secretary of the SLFP had remained a problematic position since the inception of the party. He has recalled that when the SLFP was formed in 1951, SWRD Bandaranayake had appointed 3 co-secretaries. They were Baduddin Mohammed, Thangaraja and Bernard Alvihare. He further said that Bernard Alvihare had later on joined the UNP. He further said that their party president had clearly stated that he would not join the government under any circumstance. He had also called on all to join to follow the policies of the SLFP.
Acting Finance Minister Ranjit Siambala says it has been practically established that the local debt optimization program does not pose any harmful impact on the Employees Provident Fund. The minister has made these remarks participating in the inaugural program of the Nipunata Savia Scholarship Program introduced for the provision of vocational education to members of the Children of the Employees Trust Fund today. He has reiterated that people have realized by now the false propaganda carried out by numerous parties. Acting Finance Minister Ranjit Siambala said that there will not be any change in the provision of benefits presented to the members of the Trust Fund.
A motorcycle and a lorry have fallen into an unprotected cavity near the water tower on the road leading to IDH Hospital from the Gothatua New Town. The father and daughter who came in the motorcycle were injured and admitted to the Colombo General Hospital. A nearby CCTV camera has recorded how the accident has taken place. The lorry, which also fell into the unprotected pit, was severely damaged. Both vehicles have fallen into a deep crater dug to lay water pipes at the Gothatua. Minister Bandula Gunawardena says 50 super luxury buses which have been withdrawn from service, depriving the SLTB a daily income of 5 million rupees, will be added to the fleet within the next 6 months.
The minister has given the assurance engaging in an inspection tour in the bus yard of the Super Luxury Tourist Transport Institute in Katubetha, which is owned by the SLTB. Minister Gunawardena has appointed engineer Kushan Vagadopula as an advisor of the program to immediately repair more than 50 buses presently being parked in the yard. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that they have officially accepted the responsibility of redeployment of these buses for passenger transport after procuring the spare parts from the Chinese bus manufacturing company. He also said that it is a national crime to allow these vehicles to decay. An Iranian ambassador in Sri Lanka, Hashem Azjazar, has extended his gratitude to the Prime Minister for the continuous assistance provided during his tenure to promote bilateral friendship and development cooperation.
He has thanked the Prime Minister when he met the Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Temple Trees yesterday, prior to leaving the country upon expiry of his term in office. The envoy has also recalled the support extended by the present Prime Minister, who was the Foreign Minister during the challenging period of the COVID pandemic and the global economic crisis. The Prime Minister said he also appreciates the support provided by Iran. Minister Nazir Ahmed, people's representatives, government officials were also present on the occasion.
A new approach to democratic values in Sri Lanka was unveiled by the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies. The book, Democracy and Democratization in Sri Lanka, Paths, Trends and Imaginations, edited by Professor Uyangoda, was launched at an event held at the BMICH recently. The book was published by the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies. BCIS began to conceptualize and plan this publication on the experience of democracy in Sri Lanka. At a time when the country and its people were on the verge of economic crisis that threatened the democratic values, the book has 22 chapters divided into 2 volumes. This is the first book-length scholarly work exclusively devoted to the theme of democracy in Sri Lanka. All chapter contributors are Sri Lankan scholars who have been witnesses to the rise, decline and attempts at regeneration of democracy.
As we have recommenced part of our important responsibilities in addition to teaching, which is research. This is the first major production of that. I would also like to thank all the contributors to this great work in 2 volumes. In fact, we have 25 chapters and 25 writers. The topic of our book, Democracy in Sri Lanka and everywhere else, I suppose, but we couldn't talk about it all. Democracy, I believe, is a critical necessity of the modern world, much more so than it ever has been.
I have no doubt at all that the chairperson of the BCIS, the Board of Academic Affairs, the BCIS management, the chapter contributors and the BCIS staff are delighted to see the 2 volumes, Democracy and Democratization in Sri Lanka, Paths, Trends and Imaginations in print. This, as far as I know, is the first major academic publication undertaken by the BCIS.
The fact that if democracy is going to survive in South Asia, the cause of democracy in South Asia, broad-based and inclusive development in South Asia, but I think unusually amongst leaders in South Asia and perhaps hopeful message in these times. So if you look around the world, we are at an interesting, I think, global conjuncture. Democracy or some reference to the agency of is inescapable in the modern. The people are the only source of legitimation of authority. Most political systems, including the deeply authoritarian ones, right? They always have People's Republic of X or People's Republic of Y, which is clearly an acknowledgement that in the modern world you cannot hope to create a system of political legitimation that does not speak in the name of the people at least.
The United States and Sri Lanka marked the 14th Trade and Investment Framework Agreement Council meeting in Colombo yesterday. Officials representing institutions of trade, investments, customs, labor relations, intellectual property and agriculture were also present at the event. Attention has been focused on the occasion on policies pertaining to investment environment, recent labor law reforms, security and empowerment of intellectual property, provision of customs and trade facilities and other issues. The United States representatives at this occasion have reiterated on the importance of Sri Lanka's guaranteeing on good governance and following of vibrant anti-corruption action. Government officials representing relevant ministries and departments have also graced the occasion.
6 students have achieved the first place in the numerous streams of study at the GC A-level examination were felicitated by the national television at the Nuga Sevana program of SLRC. The Bank of Ceylon have joined hands with the Rupavahini Corporation in this program. The Bank of Ceylon has presented 100,000 rupees to each of the 6 best students. Deputy General Manager Branch Operations of the BOC, Priyal Silva, has also participated in the program. Manit Kanula Pereira of Royal College Colombo has secured the first place in the island in physics. The first place in biotechnology stream was secured by Ruvini Ahimsa Vikramaratna of Devi Balika Vidyalaya Colombo. The first place in the commerce stream of studies has been taken by Dilsarani Tharushika of Sirimao Bandaranaike Vidyalaya Colombo. Pramodi Bashini Munasinghe of Sujata Vidyalaya Matra has been in the first place in the biology division. It was Gaul Richmond College's Samudita Nayanapriya who became first in the island in the engineering technology stream. The first place in the island in the art stream of studies has been taken over by Sachini Satsarani of St. Joseph's Girls' School in Kegol.
The National Body for Life Saving and Water Safety in Sri Lanka, in joint collaboration with the US Embassy in Sri Lanka, has successfully launched a beach cleaning campaign in the Mount Lavinia beach on the 18th and 19th of this month. The two institutions have also jointly organized a civil social life saving workshop till the 22nd of this month. The National Body for Life Saving and Water Safety in Sri Lanka is Sri Lanka's only internationally recognized water-based accident prevention and training organization.
We're here at Mount Lavinia this morning in honor of Cleanup Week, I think Coastal Cleanup Week, and we have a lot of people out here. We have parliamentarians from the U.S. Sri Lanka Friendship Association, we've got Blue Ocean Force, we've got the Sri Lankan Lifesavers, and we're here to welcome our two sports envoys from the United States. We're not only doing cleanup of beaches and the communities here in Colombo area, but also teaching people about life-saving skills. Swimming skills. There's a lot of drownings that happen throughout Sri Lanka, and we want to prevent that. So we're teaching young children, parents, people of all ages the importance of water safety, and in addition to clean safety and watching for the welfare and cleanliness of our own communities. So the United States is happy to be here on the 75th anniversary of our relationship, to be standing side by side, cleaning up the trash, and doing whatever we can to help our communities here. Thank you.
Relics and crest gem of the currently reconstructing Digavapi Mahasaya were brought to Nalanda Vidyalaya, Colombo today from the Vidagama Maitri Viharaya in Bandaragama. The sacred school was brought in a procession by principal of the school Champika de Silva, the staff and the students. Thereafter, religious observances have been conducted through patronage of the Mahasangha. Later on, the relics were brought to the Ministry of Defence. The Ministry of Defence and the Digavapi Aruna Trust will carry the crest gem and the sacred relics to the Digavapi Viharaya for the veneration of the devotees.
That's a look at local news. Stay with us. Foreign news is coming up next. Welcome back to the news, and we take a look at foreign news now. 5 Americans jailed for years in Iran and widely regarded as hostages are on their way home to the United States. The last pieces in a controversial swap mediated by Qatar fell into place when $6 billion Iranian funds held in South Korea reached banks in Doha. It triggered the departure of 4 men and 1 woman in Tehran who were also Iranian citizens on a chartered flight to Qatar's capital. They were met by senior U.S. officials and are now on their way to Washington. The Americans include 51-year-old businessman Siamak Namazi, who has spent nearly 8 years in Tehran's notorious Evin prison, as well as businessman Emad Sargi and environmentalist Morad Tahbaz, who also holds British nationality. The U.S. has said its citizens were imprisoned on baseless charges for political leverage. In the first indication, a deal was reached when they were moved in mid-August from Evin to a safe house in Tehran. 5 Iranians imprisoned in U.S. jails, mainly on charges of violating U.S. sanctions, are also being granted clemency as a part of its swap. Not all of them are expected to return to Iran.
Canada has accused India of involvement in the killing of a Canadian Sikh leader, an allegation strongly denied by Delhi. Yesterday, Trudeau said Canada was looking at credible allegations potentially linking the Indian state to Hardeep Singh Najjar's murder. Najjar was shot dead outside a Sikh temple on the 18th June in Canada. India has expelled a Canadian diplomat after Canada expelled Indian diplomat Pawan Kumar Rai over the case. Najjar, 45, was shot dead in his vehicle by 2 masked gunmen in the busy car park of the Guru Nanak Sikh Gurudwara in Surrey, a city about 30 kilometers east of Vancouver. A prominent Sikh separatist leader in the westernmost province of British Columbia. He publicly campaigned for Khalistan, the creation of an independent Sikh homeland in the Punjab region of India. Sikhs are a religious minority that make up about 2% of India's population. Some groups have long called for a separate homeland for the Sikhs. In the 1970s, Sikh launched a separatist insurgency in India which saw thousands killed before it was quelled the following decade.
For Khalistan. Prima Kutumi, Pantamai.
And on your sports news tonight, the Holy Family Convent Kurunegala has won the overall championship of the All Ceylon Schools netball tournament at the Albert F. Peary Stadium in Venapur.
The events were conducted under 16 and 18 and 20 categories. Mahamaya Girls School Kandy lost to Holy Family Convent Kurunegala in the under 16 event by 19 to 18. The Holy Family Convent Kurunegala also won the under 18 event against Holy Family Convent Kalutara by 41 to 21. The Kurunegala School also won the under 20 event against Musaeus College Colombo by 32 to 22. The Holy Family Convent total points was 45.
Kutumi, Pantamai.
That's it. That's a look at Rupavahini News for tonight. Together with Prashan, I'm Sharon, wishing you a very pleasant evening.